Imagine you are sitting in a softly lit restaurant. The waiter hands you a menu. It's a simple decision, right? You scan the list of dishes. Maybe you see a steak for $50, a bit pricey. Then you spot the grilled chicken for $30. Suddenly, the chicken seems like a great deal. You feel smart. You feel like you have made a rational, value-driven choice. But have you really? What if I told you that the restaurant owner never intended to sell much steak? What if that expensive dish was placed there for one reason only, to make the chicken look like a bargain? This is a classic trick. It's a form of anchoring, and it works on almost everyone. It makes you feel in control, but your choice was guided by an invisible hand. This simple restaurant scenario is a small window into a much bigger truth. We walk through our lives believing we are the captains of our own ships. We think we make logical choices about our careers, our finances, and our relationships. We tell ourselves we weigh the pros and cons. We believe we are rational beings. This belief is comforting. It gives us a sense of agency and control. We are the authors of our own stories, the architects of our own destinies. But this feeling, the conviction of our own rationality, might be the most powerful illusion of all. What if our minds are not the clean, logical computers we imagine? Over decades of research in behavioral economics, my colleagues and I have found something fascinating. Our decisions are often not the product of slow, deliberate calculation. Instead, they are driven by quick, intuitive, and often deeply flawed mental shortcuts. These shortcuts, or heuristics, evolved to help us make rapid judgments with minimal effort. They are useful for survival. But in the modern world, these shortcuts can lead us astray in very predictable ways. The gap between how we think we decide and how we actually decide is enormous. It's a chasm filled with cognitive biases, hidden influences, and systematic errors that warp our judgment every single day. The menu was just a warm-up. These invisible forces shape everything from what you buy at the supermarket to who you vote for in an election. Understanding this gap is not just an academic exercise. It's the first step toward making genuinely better decisions. It's about recognizing that the mind has a mind of its own, and it doesn't always have your best interests at heart. Our thinking is divided into two very different modes, a concept brilliantly explained by the psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. System 1 is the hero of our story. It's fast, intuitive, and emotional. It's the one that jumps to conclusions, sees patterns and randomness, and makes snap judgments. System 2, on the other hand, is the slow, deliberate, and analytical thinker. It's the one that solves complex math problems and carefully considers all sides of an argument. It's lazy and gets tired easily, so it often just lets System 1 take the wheel. The illusion of rational choice arises because we mistakenly believe we are always using System 2. It's more like a press secretary who watches what the impulsive System 1 has already decided to do, and then quickly comes up with a plausible-sounding reason for it. For a long time, traditional economics was built on a very neat and tidy idea. It was called rational choice theory. This theory assumes that people are fundamentally logical, and we always act to maximize our own self-interest or, as economists call it, utility. The only problem is, it's completely wrong. Humans are not like that. We are not perfectly rational. We are predictably irrational. The work that Amos Tversky and I did was to show, through simple experiments, just how far real people deviate from this rational ideal. We showed that they were irrational in consistent and predictable ways. We are not just making random errors. We are making the same types of errors over and over again. One of the most powerful stories that our minds tell us is that we are in charge of events, even when we are not. The psychologist Ellen Langer gave this a name back in 1975, the illusion of control. This illusion stems from our brain's need to find patterns and causality. It creates order where there is none. So, if System 1 is making all these snap judgments and System 2 is too lazy to check them, what is the role of that conscious, narrating voice in your head? The press secretary's job is to tell a good story. It observes the choices and behaviors. Then, it instantly constructs a plausible-sounding reason for why you did what you did. This process of post hoc rationalization happens so quickly and smoothly that we don't even notice it. We mistake the explanation for the cause. Imagine you are a public health official. You have been told that a new, unusual Asian disease is expected to kill 600 people in your country. If you choose Program A, 200 people will be saved. If you choose Program B, there is a 1/3 probability that 600 people will be saved, and a 2/3 probability that no people will be saved. Most people, about 72%, choose Program A. The idea of saving 200 people for sure is very attractive. Now, let's try a different version. If you choose Program C, 400 people will die. If you choose Program D, there is a 1/3 probability that nobody will die, and a 2/3 probability that 600 people will die. A massive 78% of people rejected the certain option and chose Program D, the risky gamble. This is a classic demonstration of the framing effect. When the choice was framed in terms of gains, people became risk-averse, but when the exact same choice was framed in terms of losses, people suddenly became risk-seeking. Now, let me tell you about a woman named Linda. As a student, she was deeply concerned with issues of discrimination and social justice. Which of those two statements do you think is more likely to be true? If you are like most people, the second option probably seems much more plausible. It creates a coherent and compelling story in your mind. But here's the catch. From a purely logical and statistical standpoint, that judgment is impossible. By definition, a single event is always more probable than two events happening together. Now for one of my favorite experiments, you must count the total number of passes made by the team in white. Halfway through the video, a person in a full-body gorilla costume walks directly into the middle of the scene, stops, thumps its chest, and then casually walks off the other side. And yet, a full 50% of the participants did not see the gorilla. This phenomenon is called inattentional blindness. Let me ask you a strange question. Do you think Mahatma Gandhi died before or after the age of 114? Your guess will be much higher than it would have been. You will know that 114 is wrong, but you can't help but be influenced by it. This is the power of anchoring. Which do you think is more common in the United States? Shark attacks or falling airplane parts? We judge likelihood by how easily examples come to mind. If something is easy to recall, we assume it is common. You are about 30 times more likely to be killed by falling airplane debris than by a shark. If it comes up tails, you lose $100. If it comes up heads, you win. $101. Most people demand to win at least $200 before they will risk losing $100. For human beings, the pain of a loss is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost?
10 cents. For most people, an answer comes to mind almost instantly. 10 cents. It feels right, but unfortunately that answer is completely wrong.
The correct answer is that the ball costs 5 cents. At MIT, only 48% of students got all 3 questions right. This shows that intelligence is not a defense against these kinds of cognitive biases. Imagine you have to submerge your hand in painfully cold water for 60 seconds. But then, you have to keep your hand in the water for an additional 30 seconds, during which the temperature is raised just slightly. When participants were asked which of the 2 trials they would prefer to repeat, a significant majority chose the second one, the longer, more painful one. This is called the peak end rule. The duration of the pain was almost completely ignored. This is a phenomenon we call duration neglect. So, what can we do? How can we navigate a world full of triggers and our own flawed minds? The answer lies in becoming a better architect of your own decision environment. You can build systems and habits that act as guardrails against your most common, intuitive errors. One of the most effective strategies is simply to introduce a delay. The old advice to sleep on it is profoundly wise from a behavioral science perspective.
Doctor, on screen, 90% survival rate. Narrator, VO. Another practical tool is to deliberately reframe your choices. Actively try to see the problem from the opposite perspective.
Finally, I want to end with a call to action. Become an experimenter in your own life. question the very idea of a rational choice. By observing your own patterns of irrationality with curiosity rather than judgment, you can learn to anticipate your own mistakes. The journey to better decisions is not about achieving perfect rationality. It is about understanding your predictable irrationality and using that knowledge to build a wiser, more deliberate, and ultimately more fulfilling life.